Hello and welcome to the Random Wrestling Review. Welcome back. This is episode 70 today, 70 we're doing here of our local to global series where we are still rolling and I am still absolutely motivated to get to 100 episodes with this series. So lots and lots of time to go on this series yet. Now, in the last episode, I was starting to go through the end of year awards and then went on to the Power 500, then started summarizing some of the stuff in our company and completely forgot to come back to the awards. So I thought I'd start today with going through the rest of the year-end awards for 2000, then also make a couple of business decisions and a bit of admin that I've got to do. And then we'll obviously bring you the next event in company history. So starting with Wrestler Review, obviously Shawn Michaels, we talked about that last episode. Company of the Year is WWF for I think every time since the start of this save. Tag Team of the Year was Two Dudes with Attitude, Shawn Michaels and Kevin Nash. I think they've won that a bunch of times as well. Match of the Year was from In Your House in October, which Bret Hart defeated Goldust and The Undertaker in a triple threat match. Then we had Show of the Year was In Your House from April in 2000. Let's just have a look at that show, shall we? See what was on it to remind ourselves what was on it. The main event was Diesel defeating The Undertaker to retain the WWF World Heavyweight title. And underneath, we had Goldust defeat Steve Austin to retain the Intercontinental title. Bret Hart defeat Rey Mysterio Jr. by DQ in a 99 rated match. The Block, Shawn Michaels and Ahmed Johnson defeat Brian Pillman and Lex Luger in a 99 rated match. Big Show defeated Davey Boy Smith in a 90 rated match. And also, there was a 90 rated angle here as well. I mean, it was a very, very good show. I mean, I've seen shows where they had 299 matches in the top two matches of the night, so I'm surprised that that won out. But there you go. That's what we got. Then we got Young Wrestler of the Year was Yumi Fukawa. I think she's won that before as well. No, first time she's won that. Fine. Veteran Wrestler of the Year, Fuerza Guerrera. 47 years old, having an excellent 2000. Female Wrestler of the Year for the sixth time, Akira Hakotu. No one's stopping her at this point in time. Most Improved Company of the Year is us. It's us. We've won an award, ladies and gentlemen. I was shocked when I saw that. But we have won the Most Improved Company of the Year award. I am absolutely delighted with that. I don't know how they measure it. I assume it's I would have thought it's who's experienced the most growth, and maybe proportionally we have done. Maybe just in general we have. Maybe all the top companies have just sort of ground to a halt in terms of their growth, and we've actually grown quite a lot during 2000. Well, that is very gratifying. Thank you very much. An award for our company. Independent Wrestler of the Year is Jeff Jarrett. He's won it a number of times, I think, this one. Second time, anyway. Manager of the Year, Mr. Hughes. Okay, fair enough. Announcer of the Year, Jim Ross. Yeah, fine. Color Commentator of the Year is Hugo Savinovich. First time he's won that one. And then Referee of the Year is Charles Robinson. I think he's won that before as well. So, that was the year-end awards. I'm absolutely shocked that we won that award, so I'm really happy. Unfortunately, our company awards we're down to 22nd. That's because we keep getting new companies created that are bigger than us. But we are a decent size. I'm really happy with how we are kind of moving on. That was it was great to see. Just a reminder, we're on 22 now in terms of our size as a company in Northwest. We've got a bit of popularity elsewhere as well. So I said there was some business I had to do. The first one of those things is to release Keith Hart, who obviously we've had, who retired at the end of last year, and he's done now. We don't need to keep him around. We also need to tweak Buddy Wayne's gimmick. So just going to do that now because he was getting, the notes that said his gimmick was getting stale. In terms of Public Enemy, we're going to keep them on for a little bit because I have an idea for something they can do in the next couple of months, but I don't know how long we'll keep Public Enemy. That was one of the decisions I had to make following the last episode. And yeah, we're going to review the storylines when we get to the next show, and go from there. So let's book that next show. We haven't even got anything in the calendar for it yet, and wouldn't you know, I don't have a name for it, which is also a problem. So we're going to go back to the AI to suggest some names for us. Red Alert, well, they're a tag team name, so we can't use that. Super Fight Age. We could just call it Super Fight, I suppose. Supernova. Feel the Burn. Close to the Edge. Riot Act. Here we go then. We're just going to go through this until we find That'll do. Welcome to the Jungle. Have we had an event called Welcome to the Jungle before? I don't think so. I will use that, but I just want to check that we haven't had it. It feels like, yeah, that's fine. Welcome to the Jungle. Let's just do that. Anybody who's new to this series will know that I don't really care about the show names when they're one-off names so much. So, yeah, it's not like a huge issue for it to be reasonably lame, and not to mention quite cliched to name your show after a Guns N' Roses song. But there we go. Welcome to the Jungle. Monday, week 2 is where we're going to start in January, which means it's in 7 days' time, which means we are going to go to the next player controlled show. And in the meantime, ask if you enjoy this video to hit the like button. Also, give us some comments. Let us know how you feel about how the series is going. Give us some predictions of where you think it might be going next. And let us know what you thought about the stories, what you think about the roster, who should stick around, who perhaps do we not want to keep around. There's lots and lots of things to be thinking about, and I am thinking about. So please let me know, because it's always good to hear what your thoughts are. And if you do want to continue to follow along with the series and are not yet subscribed to the channel, then please do so, because that also will allow you to follow along and helps us as well as a channel continue to grow and reach new people. And I'm eager to reach new people, really, so I can just keep going with the series for as long as possible, because the more people who kind of get involved, even if it's just a handful of people here and there, the more fulfilling this is for me. So interesting here. Rumor has it that top WCW star Sting has been offered a new contract. I'm not surprised, although he isn't really providing the value that he has done in previous years. So maybe maybe they might want to consider that, but they haven't got anyone who's particularly good to kind of replace him in the hierarchy there. Chemo has sustained a dislocated shoulder. I don't think that'll keep him out for very long, but let's just check. Dislocated shoulder, 19 days. He can only work ankles. He can't wrestle. Is that a major problem for my next event? I think it might be, Got a feeling yes, I did have chemo involved in the next show. Well, it's not a major problem, because I can just remove him from the match that I had him competing in, and yeah, I don't think that's actually a major problem for me. Steve Lombardi, obviously not wrestling. He's not a wrestler. He's just a road agent for us. And Charlie Haas, still 2 months and 2 weeks away from a return. So let's go to Welcome to the Jungle then. And yeah, obviously Chemo out injured, but can work non-wrestling stuff. I'm not gonna book Chemo for this event. I think that will give us a chance to save a little bit of money. So the night is going to start, and I haven't even told you what the main event's going to be. Well, I'll tell you via this angle. So the event is going to start by James Storm and Chris Harris having a little chat. So James Storm comes to the ring and asks for Chris Harris to join him, and James Storm warns Chris Harris not to allow what happened to him to happen again. So effectively, James Storm saying to Chris Harris, tonight you have got a chance at the RWR Northwest Championship. Actually, let's show you why, because he is the number one contender now on 13 points, just behind Batista, obviously the champion. Going a bit further down, we've got Rex King, Ace Steel, and Charlie Haas all on 10 points. But Charlie Haas, of course, is out for 2 months, 2 weeks still, so won't get a title shot just yet. Barry Buchanan and C.W. Anderson are on 9 points apiece, with Teddy Hart on 8, Chemo on 6, and then a big gap down to Eric Young on 3, Bobby Walker 2, Jim Neidhart, CM Punk, James Storm, and Buddy Wayne on 1 apiece. And then TJ Wilson, Mark Henry, Sean Stasiak, and Billy Kidman all on 0. TJ Wilson, of course, joined the company last month. For those of you who are not aware, that is the future Tyson Kidd. So, yeah, James Storm comes out, obviously, and says, look, Chris, you're my tag team partner. I just want you to be aware not to allow what happened to me to happen to you. If Bruce Hart gets a sniff of you potentially winning the championship tonight, he's not going to allow it. He's going to stop you from doing it. So James Storm warning Chris Harris to start the show. Then we've got a 6-person tag team match. It's going to see Jim Neidhart, TJ Wilson, Teddy Hart against Mark Henry, Sean Stasiak, and James Storm. That's going to be the match. Just trying to remember whether I had a preference about who won this one. I don't think I did. I don't think it really matters. And so I think what we're going to do is have the heels win because they've clearly got the better, the better, the more dominant group of wrestlers here. We'll just have it go 10 minutes. We'll give the victory, I think, to Sean Stasiak. He hasn't had many recently, so let's give him the victory. And we'll have it come against TJ Wilson, who is new to the company and still kind of get embedded in within the company. So that's our first match of the night. Then we're going to have the continuing feud between Rex King and Bobby Walker go on. And the winner of this one, I think we'll make it quite short because Walker really has not got the stamina. I think we'll have Rex King win it, or should we have Bobby Walker? Let's have. I can't remember who won their first match right now. Let's have a look. So they went to a time limit draw previously, which was a 30 rated match, despite Bobby Walker's limitations. On this occasion, I think we'll have. You know what? Let's have Rex King win it. Tainted win. I think we are already in the phase with Bobby Walker where we're going to have to review whether or not we want to keep him around because look, he can't even go 8 minutes. You know, that's ridiculous. Right, we'll have this a storytelling match, see if that makes any difference. But it did make the difference. In fact, that might inspire me just to make it a bit longer if we can. 10 minutes, okay. Let's get up to 11, 12. No, that's too much. Let's go back to 10. 10 minutes is fine for that one. But yeah, you can't even go 8 minutes with a regular match. So that's a major problem. And, you know, we were hoping for more from him. It's just not happening. He's not really improved so far in the ring through the matches we've seen him in. So yeah, not the best really from that perspective. I'm going to up this one though to 11 minutes because I've realized this is a show that's only got 4 matches. We haven't done a show with just 4 matches other than the lottery brawl for quite some time. Before the next match, where C.W. Anderson, Buddy Wayne, and CM Punk are going to face Ace Steel, Billy Kidman, and Barry Buchanan in a 6-person match. This was actually going to include Chemo with the Rebellion and Eric Young with the baby faces for this one, but obviously Chemo being injured means those two are out. But C.W. Anderson's going to come out and he's going to talk. Can he talk? No, he can't even talk about Charlie Haas. But he is going to talk about Charlie Haas. Here, he's going to just give an update. Update the crowd on Haas's injury. So if he's got 2 months and 2 weeks left, so it'll be February, it'll be April, won't it? So says he'll be back in April. That's his kind of message here to everybody. Not a particularly important thing, but I realized I hadn't had like any way for the crowd to find out when Charlie Haas might be returning or what the status of him was after the injury that he suffered. So just wanted to kind of put that in there. I've put Charlie Haas updates the crowd, so it's actually C.W. Anderson updates the crowd on that. Obviously, his tag team partner, just making it clear what's going on with him. Then we've got the 6-man tag match. As I said, Ace Steel, Billy Kidman, and Barry Buchanan teaming up against CM Punk, Buddy Wayne, and C.W. Anderson. And usually I have the Rebellion win these matches, but on this occasion, interestingly, haven't come up as the Rebellion here. I'll just check on that. They should do, I think. Yeah, usually we'd have the Rebellion win these kinds of matches, but I think this is a pretty star-studded team against them, and we're going to have Buddy Wayne get the victory, pinning Ace Steel, I think. Obviously, this continues Billy Kidman and Buddy Wayne's feud, continues CM Punk and Ace Steel's feud, so quite a big one, this one. So a victory for the babyfaces in that contest. Then we have the main event. So this is only the fourth match. This is the fourth match of a 4-match show. It's Dave Batista versus Chris Harris for the title, the old Northwest title. I'm gonna make it. Let's make it 15 minutes. We need to maximize the match here, but we'll make it a slow build. Pinfall finish. we're going to have some outside interference, as you might imagine, given the opening angle here. So we're going to have interference by Bruce Hart. Well, actually, let's just have at ringside. I don't really need them to get involved. So Bruce Hart's going to be at ringside. So is James Storm. And it's going to be finished by outside interference. So, well, let me tell you, the winner's going to be Chris Harris. We're going to have a new Northwest champion here. He's going to win by pinfall, but he's going to win with outside interference from Jim Neidhart. So that's how it's going to be. Jim Neidhart should interfere against Dave Batista as the finish. Chris Harris is going to be the winner. And how this match is going to play out is that, as James Storm predicted, Bruce Hart's going to come to the ring, and he is going to he's going to look to presumably get involved in the match. James Storm comes out to nullify the presence of Bruce Hart. They're at ringside arguing with one another, which distracts the referee. With Chris Harris and Dave Batista still in the ring, Jim Neidhart then runs into the ring and takes out Batista with a big old lariat, allowing Chris Harris to finish him off with whatever move he wants to finish him off with and get the victory to become the new Northwest champion. A really significant moment in history here. What's the booking analysis here? Okay, this is all about our lack of announcers, which is fine. Then after the match, what's going to happen is that Chris Harris, have we got what's best in terms of this? I'm always a little bit, when somebody's just celebrating, really, which is what I want to do, I never really know which of these to select. Let's just go with star quality. Is that? No, let's just do that. Who cares? Jim Neidhart can have a bit of star quality as well. And James Storm. And after the match, effectively what happens is a delighted James Storm jumps in the ring, congratulates Chris Harris. So does Jim Neidhart, and the three of them celebrate to end the show. Bruce Hart looking on as if to say, what the hell just happened? We'll have Dave Batista sort of selling as well. So we'll have everybody kind of involved in this match, in this final angle. But yeah, Chris Harris celebrates with James Storm and Jim Neidhart. And that's how the show's going to end. We'll obviously detail all of this again when we go through the event. I'm going to make that 5 minutes at the end there. That's going to be the end of the show. It's more than enough time in terms of the length it needs to be. We've got all kinds of things. So I'm going to look at the storylines of all that having been said. So I'm going to end Batista, Henry, and Stasiak. We kind of did end that when Batista defeated Stasiak in the main event of Season's Beatings. We're going to add to this now, though. Before I go any further, we got... No, that's fine. We're going to add to this now, though, Dave Batista versus Jim Neidhart, which is, for obvious reasons, coming out of this show. Jim Neidhart already playing. I didn't think he would be in this. He is involved in this. So let's remove that worker from there, because you don't need him. Both James Hart and Bruce Hart, James Storm and Bruce Hart are both involved in this. I'm going to remove Teddy Hart from this as well. I don't think he needs to be involved anymore. So first of all, Dave Batista versus Jim Neidhart. We're going to add as a story. I think we were going to add also, given we kind of started it last time, Henry and Stasiak versus Hart and Wilson. So this kind of started last time when Mark Henry and Sean Stasiak went to when we're in a match with TJ Wilson and Tyson and Teddy Hart, and they couldn't beat them for ages and ages. It took them ages to get where in fact they drew in the end, didn't they? I think, is that right? Did they draw? I mean, I can't even remember now. This was the last show of last year. Went to a time limit draw. That's right, because they beat the hell out of them, but just couldn't get the victory. Rex King and Bobby Walker obviously continue. So does that. That's just been added. So is that. CM Punk. Let's just change the name of this now. CM Punk versus the Rebellion is his story. As he goes up against the rest of them, and Buddy Wayne and Billy Kidman are still in the feud. So all of those are, actually relevant. We've got 6 6 different stories here. I think that's everything I need from this show. So there we go. I think we're ready to go into this one. Welcome to the Jungle is a go, and we're going to crown a new champion today. That is exciting. So 189 people are in the Marshall Center. That's the highest paid audience of a show since we got going. And look at this opening segment with James Storm and Chris Harris talking in the ring. A segment rating of 61. Woman obviously still there with them as well. And yeah, James Storm tells Chris Harris, look, you saw what happened to me a few months back when I went up against Dave Batista for the title. Bruce Hart prevented me from winning. Do not let him do the same to you. And Chris Harris thanks James Storm for the advice, and they go their separate way. But this also sets up our main event. It's going to be Batista versus Chris Harris for the RWR Northwest title. What a segment rating that is. So coming off that, we were going to always struggle to meet it, but still a segment rating here, 47, as Mark Henry, Sean Stasiak, and James Storm defeated Jim Neidhart, TJ Wilson, and Teddy Hart in 10 minutes and 55 when Sean Stasiak pinned TJ Wilson. In fact, I just remembered I need to do something, and I do like the fact that you can return to the booking screen, because this is also where Jim Neidhart's turning heel, of course, because he's turning on... because he's turning on Batista, turning on our babyface hero champion. So Jim Neidhart is going to be turned in this match. I think that allows me to turn him. Yes, fine. So we'll make sure that is added to that. Let's continue the show then. But a good victory there for Jim Neidhart, Mark Henry, Sean Stasiak, and James Storm. A rating of 47, still a very good match. Very happy with that. So then we've got the match between Rex King and Bobby Walker. Segment rating of 34 here, so better than their previous encounter. 10 minutes and 4 seconds victory for Rex King. He did a 36, but you can see here Bobby Walker, 21, no stamina. It's just not happening for him. I feel bad. If he could go, if he had the stamina, then I wouldn't be worried about these in-ring performances, honestly, because I'd just be like, okay, he can get better as we give him some popularity. But the point is, if he hasn't got the stamina, then he can't really go in the length of matches we want him to go in. And it's starting to already feel like Bobby Walker's not going to be sticking around for very long. It's a bit of an impulse signing, but, it's just the way it goes sometimes. Then C.W. Anderson just updated the crowd on Charlie Haas's injury before the next match. C.W. Anderson telling them that he will be hopefully back in April. That's when the doctors estimate he should be able to return to action. Segment rating of 34, nothing specifically important here. I just wanted to get this in and also take up a bit more time because we've only got 4 matches on this event. Then the 6-man tag match that came after this, CM Punk, Buddy Wayne, and C.W. Anderson defeated Ace Steel, Billy Kidman, and Barry Buchanan in 14 minutes and 8 seconds, with Buddy Wayne pinning Ace Steel. The best performer in this was CM Punk with a 47. Ace Steel a 43, though, so he's done really well. Everyone performed really well. Everyone was above a 38 here, so this was actually really, really good all-round performances from everybody. Happy with Billy Kidman at 39, C.W. Anderson at 38, Barry Buchanan at 41. I think that's probably his best in-ring performance ever. So, yeah, really good. Segment rating of 45. Happy with this. Good 6-man tag match. Which leads us to our main event. And a segment rating of 50 as Chris Harris wins the RWR Northwest title. The hints at a Jim Neidhart heel turn did not go down well. Who still remember his recent turn? I do not care. We're going to handle that change now. It's going to be Jim Neidhart. You can notice we've still got kind of Keith Hart ready to turn. The turn went badly. Never mind. That's happened now. Jim Neidhart is a heel after effectively what happening here then. So Bruce Hart comes down to ringside as it looks like Batista's in a little bit of trouble. James Storm joins Bruce Hart at ringside, and they kind of get into a little argument. Meanwhile, Batista's starting to recover in the match. However, with the referee distracted, Jim Neidhart runs in, takes Batista down with an almighty lariat, allowing Chris Harris to hit some kind of DDT or some kind of great move that he needs to do to win the match. And then the referee turns around, counts the fall, and Chris Harris becomes the new Northwest champion in a segment rating of 50. Chris Harris a 48 in-ring performance, Batista a 42. The operative one, though, here, Chris Harris a 48. We know Batista can go, but Chris Harris can really go. He's been impressing so much as of late, and he is the new Northwest champion. Then after the match, A delighted James Storm, also slightly surprised James Storm, jumps in the ring and celebrates with Chris Harris. Meanwhile, Jim Neidhart also joins them and they celebrate together. Batista's still down from what happened in the match, and Bruce Hart looks on, unsure of what to make of all of this that's going on. A segment rating of 44 as this one ends the show. Bruce Hart performed poorly, but that is the end of Welcome to the Jungle. And I'm starting to feel like Welcome to the Jungle was actually quite an appropriate name for that show, given just the chaos that seems to be reigning at the top of the company right now, with all these various different things going on, with Jim Neidhart attacking Dave Batista, Chris Harris becoming the new champion, all kinds of stuff going on. Anyway, an overall rating of 50, one of the best shows in company history, right up there. The main event was excellent. The opening angle was excellent. Chris Harris had an immense night. In fact, I'm going to make a speech now and tell him that he was awesome, because he was. He had an amazing early segment and then went on to have a great match against Batista to win the title. I think Dave Batista should be pointed out as a good example. Didn't argue at all with losing the match. Was also really performed well, and I think we'll also give some praise to Barry Buchanan, because I think that was, if not his best, then one of his best performances that he's had with us from the start. And that's the show. Uh, a new champion, ladies and gentlemen, a new Northwest champion. Oh, here we go. If we go any further, WWF have Sting interest and USWA apparently. So in major news, we have it on good authority, the USWA officials are in the process of putting together a lucrative offer to try and bring Sting onto their roster. Although it's a cutthroat business, this represents a fairly blatant attempt to score a significant win over their rivals. But meanwhile, Sting may find himself in the midst of a bidding war after rumors began circulating that WWF are seriously interested in making him a lucrative offer to come and work for them. With many options open to him, it'll be interesting to see what Sting decides. So this is the big bidding war of our time, effectively, with both WWF, USWA interested in taking Sting away from WCW, who are also in negotiations with him to bring the star into their company. Meanwhile, our feedback has been awesome. The small companies outshone some of the bigger companies' recent efforts. So we've got a few things to look at. First of all, titles. RWR Northwest Champion is now Chris Harris. Batista's most recent reign ended with 8 defenses, so not quite as good as his first reign, but still very impressive indeed. And yeah, Chris Harris, there he is, 50 rated match. In some ways, it's such a shame that we had the Billy Kidman match break up this great run of really superb title matches. And he becomes also, by the way, Chris Harris, the first man to hold both the Northwest and the Northwest Tag Team titles simultaneously. So he's currently both the Northwest and Northwest Tag Team Champion, a dominant Chris Harris in this company. I assume that hasn't changed our size at all. It hasn't. Let's just have a quick look at our top 100s then. Welcome to the Jungle becomes our second best show ever, only behind Batista versus Storm, the match that was actually referenced during this show because of James Storm's warning to Chris Harris not to allow what happened to him the last time happen here. In terms of what the top 100 matches, that particular contest with Chris Harris defeating Dave Batista was the 9th best in company history. So really decent. There was also some good other good matches here. The opening 6-man tag match, Mark Henry, Sean Stasiak, and James Storm against Jim Neidhart, TJ Wilson, and Teddy Hart was the 17th best match in company history. And I'm assuming there are probably one or two others. If we were to go down and look for long enough, we would probably find them here. In fact, there it is, 31st best match, that one, 6-man tag match. So yeah, very good indeed. In fact, I also wanted to look at the attendance, because I think that was the 3rd best in company history, the best in terms of paid audience, 189. We are nearing the sort of, a point where we're getting some really good crowds in now. And actually, financially, let's see how that's done for us. So we're currently down $700, but I think by the time we put on our next show, we'll be running a profit this month. Of course, that would knock us down again, I'm sure, when we put our next show on. But that is a really healthy chunk of money there from ticket sales, and hopefully the sponsorship will follow with it. I mean, what else is there to say? What a great show. A new champion, significant advances in the storyline with Jim Neidhart attacking Batista and helping Chris Harris become Northwest champion. We got so much coming up, and who knows what the follow-up to this will be. We will be back in our next episode not too long from now. But until then, thank you very much for watching today.